Here today at the Anarchist Bookfair 2008, and I have with me a member of PPSUK. His name's Joe, and I'm going to ask him some questions about what PPSUK is and what it does. Okay. Hi Joe, thanks for agreeing to have the interview with me today.
Pleasure.
First of all, what is PPSUK?
Okay, so PPSUK is Project for Participatory Society. So we were basically set up a couple of years back after a meeting at ZNet, so Z Communications, and it's a group of people that are concerned with certain group-based hierarchies in society. So in terms of the economy, in terms of like kinship, kind of gender areas, polity, and also ethnic kind of cultural relations. So basically we advocate the importance of looking at alternative institutions. So one of the kind of most developed alternative institutions is Paracon, or participatory economics. So this is one of the alternatives to kind of economic inequality and oppression in that particular sphere. But we also look at all social spheres and try to work on viable, detailed, compelling alternatives to them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And can you tell me what kind of stuff does PPSUK do?
Okay, so we organise kind of locally. There's about 3 different PPS UK groups. We have a website with kind of about, I think it's around 100 members, so you can have like network discussions there. But we also organise locally, so there's a London meeting, a Cardiff meeting, and also in Birmingham. And we basically try to work on projects like today at the book fair, so it could be giving talks like we've given 2 today in terms of participatory economics and participatory polity, or it could be trying to set up particular schemes that will hopefully lead towards a participatory society. So things like could be credit union schemes, or we have plans for a Paraconish type book place. So yeah, basically any projects that people in the groups feel are important, or even online, and trying to get some action towards those kinds of participatory goals, basically.
Okay, that's great. And are there any working examples of Paraconish workplaces or enterprises that exist?
Yeah, there are. I think there's a dozen or so Paraconish type organised workplaces. So varying from book publishers to kind of coffee shops. I think Vancouver is a coffee shop. So yeah, I mean there's a good handful, and interest is growing, and we hope to try and, as one of our roles in PPS UK, is to try and encourage people to take part in organising Paraconish workplaces. So try to use some of the I think very valuable institutions that Paracon puts forward. So yeah, there's working examples. Of course, the problem is that they're Paraconish workplaces within a capitalist economy, but they're there. They're working examples.
Okay, and considering the current situation with the credit crunch and the financial crisis we're in, do you think people see the need for an alternative?
Yeah, I mean, I think that deep down, most people realise that the economic system is not optimal, at least, and definitely not just. So I think people realise the need for an alternative, but don't necessarily know what that alternative is. And many people, even if they recognise the need, perhaps don't think it's possible. So I think the things like, it's called the credit crunch, but if you read Dean Baker, he's a good economist, then you find it's more to do with a housing bubble, and it's kind of the cycle that you'd expect in a market system. So I think that these kinds of, it's difficult to say, it's obviously market, housing market bubble going into a recession, credit crunch and recession, that's going to be a bad thing for most people, and probably the poorest people will be hardest hit, as always. But at the same time, I think that, yeah, it definitely increases the awareness and questioning of the particular economic system we have. And in that sense, that's where people that are organising for fairer economic systems, Paracon being one of them, that's where we should make our efforts known, really, and really get involved. And yeah, so I think it's it's bad, but it's also an opportunity, and I think people have questioned the prevailing economic system more because they see the crisis. So yeah.
Yeah. And why don't you think it's enough to only reform the current system? Why do we need a whole new alternative?
Well, I think it's because social movements and social activism is quite tiring. And you want to basically do all that you can to minimise the chances of having to repeat all that activism that you've done to get a particular change. So that's why, I mean, if you carry out reforms are good. There's Michael Albert makes that nice distinction between reformism and non-reformist reforms. So there's nothing per se that's wrong about reforms as long as they lead you towards the kind of alternative institutions that you want. So the alternative institutions are supposed to look at the systemic reasons or institutional reasons for the adverse social effect. And of course, it's better to fix those at the root than to have to keep on fighting them bit by bit as they push back. So that's why I think.
Okay. And how would people get involved with PPS UK? How can they become members? Or
you can go to the website ppsuk.org.uk, and you can register on there as a online member, which gives you access to all the discussion chats and all the different kind of threads on projects and activities, and also details on the meetings. So if you want, you can go to one of the local meetings. As I said, there's 3 at the moment in London, Birmingham and Cardiff, but hopefully you might want to set up a local meeting so you can see where you can put a thread for your particular town and you'd like to meet up with other people that are interested in Participatory Society, Paracon, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just about kind of making it happen, really.